The Ursuline Sisters of Youngstown came to Youngstown 150 years ago. On the one hand, they wanted to do what Christians had always done, be disciples of Jesus, but they were also followers of St. Angela, daughters of St. Angela Ricciardi.
St. Angela worked at a time similar to ours. There was war. Women were not given equal opportunity. So she just lived ordinary life of her time and brought prayer and action to those most in need.
St. Angela, during her lifetime, faced many obstacles in northern Italy due to invasions, war, disease. But God gave her a charism that she was able to incorporate and invite people. Now, how you know it's unique is that here we are this many years later, centuries later, referring to her charism, looking at her readings, looking at her counsels, and drawing strength from that.
So for probably a good part of our history, we were teachers in Catholic elementary schools, but like people of Youngstown, wherever there was a challenge, they responded to that.
There's this special resilience that people from Youngstown, Ohio have. And actually, there is a woman who has done research. Her name is Angela Duckworth. She's done research on the word grit. And when I think of that, I think of resilience. And I believe that's what any organization, but in particular the Ursuline Sisters.
It's not just, oh, there's some sisters and they maybe taught you and your grandfather in grade school. It's what's going on now. I think it's important that people realize how much the Ursuline Sisters have done and that we plan to continue doing this work for generations.
It's back to that servitude or being able to serve others and being able to talk to a family that's been through the Beatitude House program and hear about the impact that it made on their lives. So, not just the impact it made for mom, but also what she's now able to teach her children so that maybe generational cycles of poverty can change.
In 1997, I joined a missionary project with 4 other Ursuline sisters, and we lived at the border in Brownsville, Texas, and we worked in Matamoros, Mexico. I returned here in 2007, and at that time, Sister Patricia had opened Potter's Wheel, which was for education for women who needed a second chance. There was tutoring, GED, citizenship prep. So an English class was a perfect fit.
I have a couple of friends. When I come here to Ohio, she talked to me about Sister Norma. She invited to me to bring me to this place. I had a lot of English class over here. I know how to read. I understand more than before. My son's so excited. Say, Mama, this is the best I have and this program over here in Ohio. I feel so happy and I feel like I want to continue to do here.
In the 1990s, there was no longer a need for us to be teaching in the schools. And we started talking about if Angela were alive, where would she tell us to go? And all of us had a different experience with a person with AIDS. No one was doing anything as far as we knew. And so we started investigating what was happening in the Youngstown area. We called all around the country. And one of the sisters that was working with us said, programs work best when you meet the needs of the people in your area. You need to speak to what the people here need. And I think that was part of our success because we kept going back to the HIV community and saying, what do you need? How can we help you? Can we do this?
In Scholars, we work with low-income college students. In Immigrant Outreach, we work with families that have immigrated here from all over the world. And then in our children's program, it encompasses every child in all of our ministries. The sisters, from the ones I've worked with, but also know about their mission, and what I've read about even the history of the Ursuline Sisters, it's always about serving the families. And I feel like our programs really try and take that on. So it's never, judgment or anything like that. It's about, being compassionate humans to other human beings.
If we look back in history and the Ursuline Sisters being in Youngstown 150 years, the impact that they have had educating thousands and thousands of Mahoning Valley students in their faith, but also in English and math and reading and all the other things that go along with a child's education.
I went to St. Charles Grade School and Cardinal Mooney High School and had the Ursuline nuns as part of our teachers all those 12 years. And my wife and I have been seeing what the Beatitude has done and what some of the Ursuline other ministries have accomplished. And, we're firm believers that, you really fight poverty one person at a time, and that's what the ministries that the Ursulines provide really do.
Well, certainly I had an opportunity to work with several sisters at Ursuline High School And I found that Ursuline, the philosophy of the sisters, still resonates in the high school through its principal, administration, and staff. They are very enabling and help bring people forward in their lives, in their education, and in their ministry.
Ursuline Sisters mission was created to allow the lay leadership that had been developing in all of our ministries to continue in the legacy of the Ursuline Sisters. And it's guided by the vision that they've set for us going forward and by the values that they've lived for so many years.
So I think they've done a good job of planning for the future, and I think that's really what part of their mission has to be, is how do they keep their missions going when they become fewer and fewer.
St. Angela Merici, as she was moving on and she was passing on the order to the other daughters, basically she said, change, look forward. And I think the Ursuline Sisters of Youngstown and their forward thinking, including the Attitude House, the HIV/AIDS ministry, the housing projects that we're working on, all of those things relate to what St. Angela did in her time.
I continue to find a lot of meaning and fulfillment in this way of life. It's really a way of life where you have so many opportunities to love and reach out and respond to people.
And this is the challenge for every Christian. Imitate Jesus, to live the way Jesus lived, but to do it in your own time, in your own culture.
For those who continue to adopt the mission of Angela and the mission of the Ursulines, is to just stay aware of what the world is saying to them.
We have a lot of people, young people, middle-aged people, older people, who are inspired by the story of Jesus, inspired by the story of St. Angela, and inspired by the story of the Ursuline Sisters, and say, yeah, I want to be part of that mission. And so the ministries continue to provide for the needs of people, and they continue to thrive.
They are visionaries, I think. I could be putting out pretty big fires, and other days it may be very mundane work, but I never leave here. I never go to bed at night not feeling like I've contributed.
I was in the era where we had 200, 300 Ursuline sisters. That is not the case now. Does that diminish the mission? Absolutely not. What it does is force us to not reinvent ourselves, but to reposition ourselves in a place where we still do honor that mission, just in a different way.